All right, you may know it as Pompano, but it's now going to be known as Pampa, yes. All right, that sounds kind of corny, but I also can't take credit for that because that's what someone told me the other day. And I was like, you know what? You might have a good point. It is Pampa, yes, because it is booming, but we're still gonna call it Pompano. And there's a ton of development going on here. And I honestly might be the most bullish person on the entire internet about what's going on in Pompano and the future of Pompano. Well, maybe besides for like the Ritz, the W, the Waldorf Astoria. Well, you get it, look, at least top 5. But what's all happening in Pompano, and should you ultimately live here in Pompano? Let's talk about it. So to start off with, I think we need to talk about the location of Pompano, and that's really what makes Pompano Pompano. So Pompano is in South Florida, right sandwiched in between both Fort Lauderdale and Boca. So on the north end, you have Boca. Pompano's nowhere near as bougie, as ritzy as Boca. However, if you love Boca, you don't love some of the things about it, or maybe even the prices, a lot of people opt to live in Pompano. You're in great proximity to everything on East Boca, whether you're going to downtown Boca, Meisner Park, maybe even shopping the Town Center Mall, or even going to some of their beautiful beaches like that of Red Reef Park, or taking part in a lot of the different golf and country clubs that are there. Now, on the south side of Pompano, we have Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is definitely like Pompano's older brother. A lot more developed, a true downtown area, and plenty of high rises throughout. However, there's actually a lot of similarities between both Fort Lauderdale and Pompano. The biggest difference is that Fort Lauderdale does have that true downtown area like that of a major city. However, Pompano is working its way there. I mean, some of the big things to think about, like Fort Lauderdale Beach, you have the entire beach area with plenty of shopping and dining opportunities, maybe even great bars like that of rooftop bars, and Pompano also has that now. So I remember in high school, when you went to Pompano Beach, it was literally just a corner of Atlantic and A1A, nothing there. Bryony's was there, but nothing else. There wasn't like maybe some homeless people, but now Pompano Beach is absolutely booming. I mean, you have the new fishing pier and the fishing village, which is unbelievable. So if you can go out there, it's actually shaped like a fish, which is really cool. But a lot of people actually opt to go fishing on the pier. I know, shocker, they're not just walking it. On top of that though, if you're looking to grab a bite to eat, there are plenty of great options like that at Beach House, Oceanic. You can grab a drink right there at Lucky Fish on the beach. There's also a Mexican spot, Killwinds, BurgerFi's, a little gift shop, even a little coffee shop that's tucked away as well. And if you want to stay there, I believe it's a True by Hilton is the hotel right there. And on top of it is actually a new rooftop bar called Pier 6. So as you can see, Pompano's booming. We're dumping a ton of money into it. And speaking of dumping money into Pompano, we're going to talk about some of these luxury condos coming. And if they're doing the research and coming to the city of Pompano, I don't see why we shouldn't be either. But we'll talk about that at the end. But in terms of other things to do in Pompano, obviously you have the beach, but I will say the main attraction and the huge reason for living in Pompano is the water aspect. Whether you're living on the water or you're a boater yourself, boating is a huge way of life here in Pompano. A ton of inland waterways, just like that at Fort Lauderdale. Meanwhile, I guess we don't technically have the new river that goes up through Pompano, but there are plenty of homes both on the intercoastal front as well as a little bit tucked away on the west side of Federal. And I know what you're thinking, Joe, west side of Federal, it's a fixed bridge. I can't really get a big boat back there. That's kind of a waste. However, in Pompano, the fixed bridge height, especially for that one right there on Federal, right near, I believe it's Lettuce Lake, is about 8 feet to 11 feet, depending on the tide. And you'll see quite a few people actually live west of Federal because you can fit a decent sized center console back in those neighborhoods like that of Garden Isles. However, are you gonna be able to fit, maybe a Viking or a sailboat? To be 100% honest with you, no. But there are plenty of great marinas nearby, so it gives you plenty of flexibility. Another big thing with living in Pompano and the boating is you do have the Lighthouse Point Inlet right there. So if you're going out fishing for the day, quick, easy access from Garden Isles, it's maybe 15-ish, 20 minutes, depending on, the day. Other than that, people go out to the Lighthouse Point Inlet, they go and hang out, they anchor out, they go and see the lighthouse. You can head further north up into Boca, go to Lake Boca for the day, hang out. If you're looking for something a little bit more quiet, go to Lake Wyman. You can even go all the way up to Peanut Island, which is maybe about 1.5 hour, 2 hour ride, depending if you go intercoastal or the ocean. You could also head south, go to the 17th Street Sandbar in Fort Lauderdale, or go down to Hollover, go down to downtown Miami, go to Brickell, explore, or if you're really feeling it, you could rip it to Bimini or rip it all the way down to the Keys, which is a ton of fun as well. Now, I get it. Hey, Joe, I'm actually not a boater. None of that makes a damn difference to me. I completely understand. What are some of these other things to do here in Pompano? So Pompano is a lot more laid back, so there's plenty of great parks nearby, golf, so you have like the Pompano Beach Golf Course, Palmer, which is an entire community centered around golf, but it is all condos, and my personal favorite, Topgolf. Yeah, I'm not really a big golfer, as you could probably tell, but Topgolf is excellent, and if you're really a big golfer, we also have plenty of courses up in Palm Beach County, which is pretty much the cream of the crop in Boca, Delray, and Boynton, and you're not too far, and you're also not breaking the bank, which is a big thing. Now, right next to Topgolf is Harrah's Casino, which pretty much has been completely redone, is the best way to put it. Now, the only knock to Harrah's is they do not have live table games like that of roulette or even sports betting. That is reserved only for the Seminole Hard Rock casinos. That's for a completely different video, but still great access to it, plenty of things to do. I will say another thing that we do excel at here in Pompano is the brewery scene. We do have some great breweries like that at Pompano Beach Brewing, as well as 26 Degree Brewing right there on Atlantic. And speaking of 26 Degree Brewing, I think we got to talk about the OG sports bar, probably the best sports bar in all of South Florida, and that's Flanagan's. I believe that the OG, the first Flanagan's in South Florida, is the one right there off of Atlantic, directly across the street from the Publix, right next to 26 Degree Brewing. And if you haven't been to Flanagan's, you have to. Shoot, I even have a Flanagan's cup right here. This is the most famous cup in all of South Florida. But the big draw to Flanagan's is it's a great sports bar, good food. They have green cups. This is a breast cancer awareness cup, but it's just a great overall atmosphere and great food specials. Now, in terms of places to live and the overall vibe and the price point here in Pompano, let's talk about that. I will say that living in Pompano is significantly cheaper than both of our neighbors to the north of that of Boca and to the south with that of Fort Lauderdale. One of the big draws is living on the water. When it comes to living on the water, your average or your median sales price for a home in Fort Lauderdale on the water is right around $2.5 to $2.8 million. Meanwhile, here in Pompano, you could live on the water right around $1.3 to $1.5 million. So that's $1 million swing to live on the water and pretty much have the same quality of life. I mean, yes, are there some differences? Yeah, here and there. But for the most part, you have a lot of the same things, especially if you're being able to live on the water. You're still only maybe 20 to 30 minutes to downtown Fort Lauderdale, maybe about 20 minutes to downtown Boca, plus 20 minutes to the ocean. You can't beat that. Now, in terms of neighborhoods, I will say there is a huge draw towards most of the neighborhoods on the water. So like that of Garden Isles, which does have fixed bridges, Santa Barbara Shores, which does not have fixed bridges, and Hillsborough Shores and Hillsborough Harbor, which also do not have fixed bridges. Now, if you're looking for more condo living here in Pompano, I will say probably the most popular is that of Palmer Golf and Country Club, which, don't get it twisted, is not necessarily like a country club like you're probably thinking for like that of Boca, but it is a mix of over 100 different condo buildings and I believe 15 different associations all within one, where you do have the condo living, you have great proximity to everything, and you also have golf right there. Meanwhile, if you're looking for more of a condo along the beach, we do have plenty of them, and just like that of Fort Lauderdale, a lot of these buildings along the beach are a little bit older, but we do have some that have been completely redone and completely remodeled. And probably the most exciting thing coming to Pompano right now are some of these brand new luxury condos. And it all started with the Ritz-Carlton Residences Pompano Beach. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I told you before, I'm probably one of the most bullish people on Pompano, but when they announced the Ritz coming to Pompano, I was like, yeah, Pompano's booming, but are we there yet? This is kind of iffy. But look, they're a big brand. They got a lot more R&D power than I do. And obviously they were right, because they sold out in, I believe, 6 or 7 months, and the project is absolutely unreal, with an entire oceanfront component along with an entire waterfront component on the back. And that was just the beginning. From there, we've had numerous other buildings announced that are going to help completely reshape not only the skyline of Pompano, but also the overall feel and how people live in Pompano today. And that starts with the Armani Casa residences, we have Salado, the W Hotel and residences, and then my personal favorite, one I'm probably the most excited about right now, is the Waldorf Astoria residences, which will be the first standalone Waldorf Astoria residences in not only Florida, but the entire world, setting an entirely new standard, and they're putting it here in Pompano. So as you can see, if all these brands are bullish on Pompano, why are we not bullish on Pompano? So in terms of price points for a lot of these, they do start right around the high, like 1.8, 1.9 million to low $2 million range, and they go upwards at, I believe, $20 to $22 million. Now, meanwhile, none of them have been built yet. The Ritz is probably the furthest along. You can still get in at pre-construction pricing, which is really nice as Pompano starts to be built and developed. Okay, but what if I'm not looking for a brand new luxury condo? What are we looking at price point wise here in the city of Pompano for like resale homes? So overall, our median sales price right now in the city of Pompano here in March of 2025 is about $340,000. However, I will say for single family homes here in Pompano, our median sales price is closer to that $450,000 to $500,000 range. And on the condo and townhome side, we are in the high 200s to low $300,000 range. So as you can see, nowhere near as pricey as that of Boca or maybe even Fort Lauderdale. And you have a lot of different opportunities within the city of Pompano as it starts to grow and develop. You're really getting in at the ground floor. But let me know in the comments, is Pompano about to be the next big thing here in South Florida? And if you or anyone you know are looking to buy, sell, or invest here in the city of Pompano or South Florida in general, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. We've helped hundreds of families just like you make the move not only to Pompano, but also South Florida in general, and we'd love to help you as well. You can call us, email, text us, whatever's easiest for you, we got you.